Hello, bonjour, Irene here, welcome to my art studio, and today I'm going to show you some tips and techniques to start that very first layer of a painting. I've set my very own challenge of 100 paintings. You can do as many as you like. Inks, paints, stencils, pastels, watercolours. Let's get into the video and I'll show you all the different techniques. So I woke up one morning and decided to set myself this challenge. So I just used everything that I had in the studio. I had some canvases, unused canvas boards, and some big sheets of lovely 300-gram watercolour paper, which I cut up, as I wanted to keep all these paintings small. And I decided to gesso all the papers because of the way I work in mixed media. The first technique that I started with was by using rollers. I've got plenty of different types of rollers, different patterns. Some are sponge ones, some are hard rubbery ones. Some of them you can change the heads. So I had fun just making some marks on the papers with these. I used on all the 100 paintings, I used just one colour to start with. All of these techniques I'm showing you today are all great ways to attack the blank canvas and also to use in different layers. You can pick and choose and test out different mediums at different stages of the painting, which is what I do all the time. Here I'm using paintbrushes and I think a couple of other tools, mark making tools. In this one and in the first one I was using acrylic paints. Here I'm using a toothbrush to get that lovely smudgy effect. And here a sponge brush. You can use the sponge brush using the edge and the full length of it. I hear a little bit of writing. All these are ways that I generally start my paintings to see what happens. Here I'm using inks. I love these effects. All sorts of different marks. I love drippies. And this effect by squirting on the water. Look how lovely that is. So I'm also using this challenge to test out, retest things that I've used in the past, things that I haven't used in a while, to work with again and see what I can work into my bigger paintings. A lot of these things that I do use often in my paintings, but some of them I haven't used for a while, so kind of reintroducing them back into this 100 painting challenge. And I will be using all these techniques in all the different layers that I do on these paintings, in different stages, if you know what I mean. This is how I usually work, building up layers, and we'll just see what comes out of it. I'm using a pipette to suck up the ink and squirt it onto the paper. Here I just kind of blotted another piece of paper on top. I got a really lovely mark there. So I'm working in groups of 10. I put them in piles of 10s and working in different processes for each group of 10. So sticking to the one colours, this one is mark making. Tools, different little stamps that I've got around, some of the kids' stuff. Look at this, it's a little toy car. It was my son's when he was little. And some stamps, here's a cork. So things that you find around the house. This one makes some fun little marks. It's a group of straws that I taped together and it makes this really nice mark. Some of my kids' stamps again. This one I think I'm painting on, and I'm going to use the kind of a scrapey tool to make these marks. Here's some sort of packing that I paint on, and then I'm going to stamp it onto the paper. I also use a lot of bubble wrap, that makes really nice marks too. So all great ideas for you to use, start painting, use in different layers on paintings. Pastels are another medium that I love to use in my paintings. In between the acrylics, I like to come back in and draw with pastels. I love the really strong pigments, the colours of pastels. They really keep their colour. These two, you can use them in different ways for drawing on the pointy bit and use them on their side to get a thicker, bolder mark. And here I tried to squirt some water on, but it didn't really work, so that wasn't a very good experiment. And of course you can use your fingers to rub and blend. In this group of 10 I'm using crayons. These are water soluble, and I love the effects you can get. Then I'm just dipping my finger in the water and rubbing that on. There I'm using my pipette to squirt some water on, and then this sponge brush to kind of move the colour around. You get some really, really nice effects with this. Here we're moving on to pencils, coloured pencils, which are also water soluble. You see them really thick woodies, stabilo, and some thinner ones. And I'm not thinking about anything in all of these 100 beginnings. I'm just thinking of getting some marks down there and just playing around with the medium. As you can see, I really do love my drippies. If you do want to have a go at any of these techniques, if you want to share your own challenge, then I've got ladies sharing their images in my free Facebook group, which is AHA Let's Paint Together, AHA AHA for Happy Art, like this channel name. And you can post in there, it's a private group, you can join and share your images and get some encouragement and some feedback. You'd be very welcome. For this group, I've moved on to watercolor pens, aquarelle pens, and getting some really nice marks with this. I'm really loving this watery effect here. I'm adding a lot of water. I'm really liking this. And there I'm using some of my, not mine, they're my daughter's alcohol pens. Giving those a try. You may have noticed I haven't filled the page in any of these 100 paintings. I could have. I'm leaving space for all the other layers, and hopefully some of these beginning layers, some beginning marks will show through in the very, very end painting. There I'm using a few Caran d'Ache Neocolor crayons. Also mix well with water. I use these a lot on my paintings as well. Another technique that I love and use a lot, stenciling. If you see any of my painting process videos, you'll see that I use a lot of these techniques as I'm building up the layers. I think I actually only did 5 of the paper's canvases because I only had 10 left and I still wanted to do another technique. So for my last 5 of the 100, I'm using some collage. Here I am using just tissue paper, but probably in my next layers I may use some other type of collaging paper. We'll just have to wait and see. I do love tissue paper because it gets quite transparent, so sometimes you can see what's underneath. So can you believe there's 100 beginnings of brand new paintings, and I will be building those layers up to hopefully get some finished pieces. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned some tips and techniques that you can use in your own paintings, especially for those first layers. I will be continuing these paintings with my mixed media process, mixing things up, doing different layers in different techniques. Watch out for that video. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.
revoir.